Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm pulling back the curtain on my wife's and my personal home building journey. Now, specifically, why we chose to build a new construction home with Eagle Construction right here in Blacksburg, Virginia, and also how we feel about that decision now that we've lived in the home for a full year. Whether you're considering building new, curious about Eagle Construction specifically, or just want some honest insight into what it's like to live in one of their homes after all the dust settles, well, this video is for you. I'll walk you through how we made our decision, what we loved and maybe what we didn't love, and whether or not we would do it all over again. So let's jump in. As always, I'm Grant Irby, your trusted real estate resource right here in Blacksburg in the New River Valley. And our goal with this YouTube channel is that it's your #1 source for everything you need to know, both about relocating to and living in this awesome area. And if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you are actually thinking about making a move here, I would love to be the realtor that you choose to work with. So let's rewind to the beginning, why we decided to build a new construction home. So my wife and I were living in Reiner, and while we loved that area, we knew that we needed more house space for our 2 little kiddos, and we also wanted to be closer to the heart of the Blacksburg community, where we personally do a lot of our life. Now, like many home buyers, we decided to start by looking at resale homes, existing homes that were for sale. And the more that we looked, the more we realized we would have to make compromises on layout or condition or location. And after years, I mean quite literally years of living in homes that we were personally constantly renovating, we were ready for fewer projects and more just peace of mind. And like I mentioned, we also wanted easier access to all the amenities that Blacksburg has to offer. So that's when we started seriously looking at new construction, and Eagle Construction popped up on our radar. So we have to ask the question, why did we choose Eagle Construction? I mean, there are quite a few builders in the New River Valley, so why Eagle specifically? Now, for us, it really started with a question of location. Eagle is developing a neighborhood called the Preserve, and it's just off Price's Fork Road, and they're building in that area along with another builder, Stateson Homes, and Stateson is right across the street, and they're developing a neighborhood known as West Hill. Now, both neighborhoods are technically in Montgomery County, which means you get a Blacksburg address and access to the benefits that come with all that without, this is a big one, without paying town taxes. Now, that's a savings of quite literally over $1,000 a year, and we're still in Blacksburg school systems. We're just minutes from Virginia Tech and all the shopping and everything that downtown has to offer, so it really, for us, felt like the best of both worlds. So next, we began looking at value. Now, when we compared the price of building with Eagle versus buying an existing resale home in a similar location, well, for us, it really made sense. We were getting a brand new home that matched our style, and we also were able to avoid those surprise repairs or updates that often come with buying older homes. So then we had to decide between Eagle and Stateson, and that was a tough decision, but there were 2 big factors that tipped the scales for us in the direction of Eagle: the size of the lots and the floor plans. We loved the larger lots and the wider spacing in Eagle's neighborhood. I mean, in our previous home, we sat on over 1.5 acres, so while we didn't need that much space again, we definitely didn't want to be packed in too tight and too close to our neighbors. And with Eagle, we secured a 0.6 acre lot with a spacious yard, good distance from the neighbors, and this one was also key for us, a pretty far distance setback from the street. So our house is physically set back pretty far from the street, and we were able to get that without giving up that Blacksburg location, and for us, that was huge. Now, when it came to floor plans, we toured everything under the sun that both builders had to offer, including model homes and homes still under construction. Now, ultimately, Eagle had a layout that just worked well for us. The primary suite was on the main floor, and there was an open living to kitchen concept, along with separate dining and a separate play area for our kids, so that pretty much checked every box. And finally, we were looking for quality. Now, as a realtor, I'd already helped clients purchase Eagle homes in the past, and they had positive experiences. Now, we also did our homework, I mean thorough homework. Eagle has a strong reputation across Virginia. They're an award-winning builder. Now, they're especially prevalent in the Richmond area, and their process for how they approached everything felt consistent and professional. And that gave us confidence heading into such a big investment. At the end of the day, Eagle checked all the boxes, and that laid the groundwork for the next step, which is building the house. Once we officially signed with Eagle, we jumped straight into the building process. And I'll be honest, it's a lot. But knowing what to expect and staying involved made a huge difference. So first, it's important to understand that with a builder like Eagle, you're buying a semi-custom home. So the floor plan is already created, but you can modify that floor plan for your needs and to dress it up with whatever kind of cosmetic design finishes that you want. Since we had already picked our lot and picked our floor plan, we moved right into making structural decisions. These got to be made really quickly. These are things like extending the porch or the decks or extra windows or changing doorways or moving walls. These are things that have to be locked in before Eagle could submit our home for permitting. And if you're building in Montgomery County, keep in mind that that process can take a little longer due to local timelines. So we picked out our lot, we picked out our floor plan, we made our structural decisions, and next came the design phase, which, depending on your personality, can be either super fun or super overwhelming. Now, Eagle has a design studio on Main Street in Blacksburg, and it's really cool. It's basically set up as a series of model rooms with different styles of design finishes. So, for example, there will be several different kitchens in that design studio, complete from cabinets to countertops to sinks and fixtures, and you can see the different designs in person and all the variety of options. Their studio is beautiful and the number of choices can feel endless. So my biggest advice, having gone through it myself, come prepared. Tour their various model homes in advance and even the design studio in advance, and ask, what is included in my home as a standard finish versus what's an upgrade that I pay for additional cost for. And set your priorities and your budget before you go in. You might need to make some tough calls on upgrades to stay on track financially, but knowing where you're willing to flex makes the process a whole lot smoother. Throughout the entire build, communication and customer service were strong from Eagle. We especially appreciated the relationship we had with our project manager. I mean, he was responsive, patient, always willing to answer questions, and that kind of support makes a huge difference. My wife and I scheduled regular walkthroughs in person to see the progress and stay ahead of any potential surprises. Now, there were a lot of moving parts, but Eagle had a system and we never felt lost in it. We stayed involved, asked questions, and trusted the team, and that made a huge difference. So now that we've been living in our Eagle home for a full year, what do we think about it? Well, overall, I'd say we're really happy with both the quality of the build and the design choices we made. Now, of course, if we had an unlimited budget, there are a few more upgrades we might have added, but we made smart, intentional decisions that fit well for our family, and we've had no regrets. One important tip, however, is to set aside some extra cash for post-move-in projects. Brand new homes, turns out, don't always come with all the extras that you would find in a resale, things that are done to the home over time. Think things like extra shelving, closet systems, or window treatments. Having a cushion saved us a lot of stress. And we also DIY'd a few things like ceiling fans, light fixtures, and we did that to cut our building costs early on. Now, maintenance-wise, it's been super low, which I love. That's one of the biggest perks of buying new. When you have issues pop up, Eagle's warranty team, at least for us, has been responsive and easy to work with, especially during that first year when most of the fixes tend to show up. We really also enjoy the neighborhood between the pickleball courts, walking trails, the playground. I mean, we've used it all, and it's the kind of place where people actually enjoy spending time outside. And again, for us, location has been spot on. Now, we've had a couple of minor downsides. We didn't upgrade the paint, and yep, that's definitely builder grade paint. It scuffs easily, but we plan to repaint down the road, especially since our kids are in that draw all over the wall like Picasso phase. And the sod in our front yard looks great, but the backyard was just seeded with like builder grade seed, and the grass quality has been poor. In fact, I'd say it's closer to weed than grass. It's full of rocks, weeds, it's cheap seed that they use, and we'll eventually need to correct that. But all in all, the process and the product has been a really great fit for our family. Now, one thing I want to emphasize is that even when you're building a new home, you still need a realtor. It's a common misconception that you don't, because the builder has their own salespeople, right? Wrong. The builder sales team works for the builder and the builder's best interests, not for you and yours. Having your own realtor representing you means that you have someone on your side to ask the right questions, review contracts carefully, compare upgrades that you're considering versus the long-term value that they'll hold, and advocate for your interests from day one. Now, I am a realtor, so I represented ourselves because I have a deep understanding of real estate contracts, real estate law, things that the builder is required to do or provide, things like that. And that came in clutch. For example, I knew the things that were totally off the table for negotiation, but more importantly, the things that were up for negotiation but weren't advertised. So I was able to negotiate tens of thousands of dollars off of our home because I knew where to press. And also, I also knew that builders typically work with sales quotas, so they have a goal number of homes to sell each month. So I knew that if I strategically waited until the end of the month, I would have a far greater likelihood of negotiating a better deal for my wife and I, which we did. These are just a few examples of the ways that we benefited during the process because of our knowledge and expertise in the field. Since I have a deep understanding of real estate contracts, I was able to catch mistakes that the builder made when they drafted our purchase agreement and addendums. Now, had I not known what to look for or not caught the errors and gone ahead and signed on the dotted line anyway, I would be legally bound to agree to that error. And hopefully the builder would work with us, but you can't say that for sure because it wouldn't matter what the conversations I would have had with the builder up to that point would have been. Technically, whatever's written on the contract and signed by all parties prevails. More than that, a realtor can also help you understand true value, not just in terms of finishes, but lot premiums, location, resale potential, and lifestyle fit. Like I mentioned, we were already familiar with the process because of my work, but had we not been, having a trusted guide would have been priceless. And the best part, builders often cover the expense of buyers' realtors. That's right, Eagle actually paid me as the buyer's realtor. And they've done that for the other homes that I've sold of theirs too. So in all the Eagle homes I've sold for myself and my clients, the buyers never paid a penny of compensation to their realtor. They got a realtor in their corner advocating and fighting for their best interests for free. So looking back, we're really glad we chose to build with Eagle. Was it totally stress-free? Of course not. No new construction process is. But overall, it was a smooth experience and our home truly feels like us. So what do you think? Could you see yourself building a home here in the New River Valley? Well, if so, please reach out to me directly. My cell phone number and email address are on the screen. And chances are, whichever builder you're considering for your new home here, well, chances are I've already worked with them. And I'd love to chat with you about what relocating or building in Blacksburg area could look like for you. And if you found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for more content about living in Blacksburg and the New River Valley. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to helping you win with real estate.